is actually Easter, and April 5th. It's early Sunday morning. It's 2:46 a.m. Wow. Surprised I'm up like this. I went to bed early, actually. And when it's early, you want to go to bed early. I also wake up early. But before I fell asleep, I was listening to a program on the what they call ancient astronauts, and it was a convention. It's not a a guest speaker on the subject. I forget the man's name. He has a Greek-sounding last name, and he was showing artifacts that was all over the world. The work was very compelling. They had sculptured, these little mini sculptures of, it looked like an astronaut's space suit. Even one of the little figurines was found in southern Mexico. Near with those what they call the Olmecs. It was a little black man figure, and when he had asked the people, the residents of the area where they found the figurine, he inquired, who is this? And they said, he's one of the gods. And I thought that was very interesting. And so this speaker was saying the obvious with who the sculpture looked like, and that the information about these ancient astronauts, that was a black person, what we would say that looks like a black person, and that when he came to the Americas, he didn't come by boat, that he flew here. So I thought that was compelling. But what I wanted to also talk about, on this spirit journey, these audio diaries that I'm doing, it's designed to stimulate thinking on my part. And like one YouTuber said, the way to open up your pineal gland is to actually ask yourself questions. And so my doing this is designed to open up my thinking, open up my pineal gland to think out of the box. I'm trying to take these little dots of information, and maybe even misinformation at that, because I still have to really verify the information. But what it looks like, it's creating a picture that is so different than what I thought life was about. Watching the video and reading Michael Tellinger's book on the Anunnaki, I'm believing more and more in their conclusions that the gods, plural, and the word God just seems to be referring to beings with who have more technological savvy who had come here on the planet long ago, and we worship them because they appear to have more than the people on this planet who are indigenous to this planet. And in this speaker's lecture that I was watching yesterday, he presented, to strengthen his case, how people in the past had mistaken these people, these visitors, as gods. He gave the story of, in World War II, you had American military who had visited these these islands in the South Pacific, and the indigenous people were afraid. They never saw an airplane before. They were watching the people, the military, U.S. military, with walkie-talkies, rifles, all these things. And then after the war, the military left the South Pacific. And then you have these anthropologists, and they were wondering, hey, I wonder how these people post-war, what are they doing now, seeing all these things, these technological things. So they did visit. And they have like what they call a cult following. They call it the John Frum cult. And that comes from John, because a lot of the military people's name was John, and that they would say, hey, hi, my name is John, I'm from such and such. And so I guess in their understanding, the key words was John and Frum. And they called the John Frum cult. And what they do, they had the indigenous people of the South Pacific had made replicas of the planes. They built it out of wood. They had little wooden boxes to mimic a walkie-talkie type of thing, etc. Wooden sticks that's carved into what looks like rifles and things like that. And they said that we're waiting for them to come back. Something like that. Isn't that something? So fast forward and linking people from, let's say, 6,000 years ago, and seeing people, in space suits all over the world, and that they have like a cult following, and they built these replicas of the people who they saw, and that they became their gods. So I just thought it was very compelling, putting some of the pieces together. They also saw, this program that I watched also showed like ruins, ancient ruins, different parts of the world, and they showed like a quarry, a stone quarry, and they have some type of tool that had cut into the stone like butter. They were straight lines, and that took out slices of this hard wood. I'm sorry, not wood, stone. And they said some of the stone is one of the hardest stones in the world. You see them. It looked like this particular quarry, like they just abandoned the place, like construction workers that didn't clean up after themselves, and they just left in a hurry. Like, oh, the project is done. Okay, let's just leave now. This is compelling. This wasn't done by people like us. Or what they did, they might have showed us the technology and had us as labor, and to do the to do the work under their supervision. And then once the project was done, they left. So now, in our current situation, like in the United States, and I think around the world, you had a monetary system that was introduced. And it was backed by gold, okay? Go ahead, the word gold again, the G word. And it was being said that, like, the gold system in the U.S. ended, I think, around the 1930s. Our money used to be backed by gold, but now it's not. And where's the gold in Fort Knox? Why did they, like I remember one thing I saw in the past, this program, and the gold is all being locked up in a room or something. Now, why is the money just being hoarded? The gold just being hoarded. All these storehouses, and they do such extreme to keep the money safe. They don't even try to keep people safe, but they're keeping an object, gold, like it's a living thing. I don't know. So I'm asking myself, okay, where is this gold now? Not just in the U.S., but so this is what I'm thinking. So just like we had ancient astronauts, we have modern day astronauts. And I was asking myself, why do we need astronauts to just, like, they're bored, they have nothing to do, let's just go up in the sky. I don't know what we're looking for. Let's just go here and there. Just like in the past, the Anunnaki had gold mines in southern Africa, and then in the Mesopotamia area, they had, I think it was like their headquarters, and they were coordinating the shipment of gold off the planet. And that they would bring it, I think either they said Mars or the moon or even both. And then from there, it would be sent out to go to their other planet, Iburu. So, present day situation, you have gold that's no longer being used, because it's not backed, our money's not backed by gold anymore, but yet they want the gold, and they put it in storehouses, and then people are wondering where the gold went. I'm wondering whether the gold is going on the Apollo missions, the space. I mean, people don't just do something because they're bored. And I mean, millions of dollars, this program, on the surface to me, it's just a waste of money. Well, it's not a waste of money if they're packing it with gold. So I'm wondering whether these movements, these people, these astronauts, and the system that's bringing them there, whether they're knowingly, well, at least the heads up, are knowingly doing something that the mass population does not know. That they're bringing stuff off the planet. And so at a later date, they could come, the Anunnaki or who they want to call themselves, will come and pick it up. This is really compelling. Okay, now, further still with this conversation, this audio diary, this Michael Tellinger, I have 2 of his books, and I was watching him also on a video yesterday, and he's from South Africa. He's not an Afrikaner, but he is a man of European background. And when he started studying the ancient ruins in South Africa, now the whites that are in power in South Africa, even though apartheid is supposedly over, but you still have the whites that are, that were in power. They're still in power there. And when this Michael Tellinger shared the information about the ruins, and also he was told about the ruins by another person there. And so he was eager to share the information to academia in South Africa. And he said that none of them came. He invited all these people, none of them came. And why they didn't want to come was because they didn't want to promote that ancient South Africans had anything to do with the ruins down there. They're one of the oldest, they have ruins that maybe some of the oldest ruins on the planet. And they have they had gold mining down there, he said. And they have what he labeled Adam's calendar. And it's a very accurate calendar system. And I'm wondering, okay, you have these researchers, they're usually of European ancestry, who go to ancient sites and study it and write books. But for whatever reason, they don't want to write books about their own country. They write about books about Egypt, though, and Turkey and Mexico, but not South Africa. And to give credit to sub-Saharan people. They want to make you think that, at least they were even saying that the artifacts there in South Africa was really made by the Phoenicians or something. And they believed that the Phoenicians were white, what they call white people. Now I wonder, is the word white really a code name? Because the people of the Middle East, they're brown-skinned people. They're not white. They don't. You would not mistaken them for a European, a Western European, definitely. And I've been to Egypt, and they don't look like white people. So I'm wondering whether when a European says, oh, the white people, whether that's a code name for Anunnaki, because you have people from Mexico in their ruins, and they're not white people. But you don't, but the Europeans don't seem to be afraid to talk about them. But for whatever reason, non-Semitic Africans, Europeans, and the like, do not want to promote the history. So I'm wondering whether it's because are the academia trying to hide the history of the Anunnaki's involvement in Southern Africa, and if so, why? Why would they be afraid? I mean, modern day Afrikaners, they don't want to believe that the black people down there had a civilization, and that when the whites came to Southern Africa, that they want people to believe that they were down there first, and that the other tribes, African tribes, came down there after them. That it gives them claim over South Africa, the white people. So they don't want to promote that. But either still, the whites there, they know where they came from, that they migrated. They have a known migration and a known history, and it's not Southern Africa. So, but that stronghold. So I think there's, they want to throw in the racial component, but I think it goes more than just, oh, well, we have claim over South Africa because we're down there first. There's information that's being withheld. And I think that's what's telling. Why don't they want people to know the history of ancient peoples of Southern Africa? They don't want you to know about the ancients of other locations, but why here? This is the secret. This is a secret. And academia do not want us to know, or mainstream to know. So it really gets thick. And maybe this will be the real telltale reasons for racism against African people. We have people all over the world, and most people on this planet are brown and black skinned people. But this particular people, see, when you lie, when historians lie or distort history, they have to tell another lie to cover that lie up. But eventually the lie is going to be exposed. So this is just food for thought to open up my thinking, my pineal gland, my understanding, and my thinking outside of the box. This is an interesting world, and it has a history that's just waiting to be discovered. So peace to you all.